Hello, and welcome back to RPG Quest, the podcast where we do not play D&D. And once again, we are going deep into the unknown horrors, the ancient and the evil with Call of Cthulhu. My name is Chris. I am your host and keeper, but of course the real star of the show is our player for this scenario, Brendan, aka Panda, aka Detective. I almost said Dr. Jack Cassidy. Doctor of Crime.
Hey, he went back to school for a few years.
Detective Jack Cassidy. Hello.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, man.
Thanks for coming back. Well, where we left off, our Detective Jack Cassidy was fleeing the scene of a crime in his car as he just set fire to the warehouse of the most honorable crew of swords, where they were making their floats and posters and flags and designs with this yellow sign, the symbol of their crew for this year's Mardi Gras. And of course, this evil symbol of the king in yellow, as you've discovered. You know, we see Jack Cassidy, flooring it back to the apartment, the burning warehouse, off in the distance now. And you hear the sounds of sirens as the fire department and police begin to descend on the scene.
Yeah, I think he, full speed. He's probably high on adrenaline, laughing. Beats on the steering wheel a couple times, got him. And chucks that mask out the window, the one that he was spotted in.
Yeah. You make it back to the apartment, back to Ed Roy's apartment, and head upstairs, I guess, and get ready to try and get some sleep before the next day.
Yeah, I think he knows this won't go unanswered. So definitely lock up and wedge a chair at the handle of the door or something. So at least there'll be some noise if somebody tries to come in. Then he's gonna sleep with the shotgun.
Of course. Give me, as you begin to hugging this shotgun, begin to drift to sleep alone in this apartment. Give me a sanity roll, please.
Yeah, of course. Ooh, 8 versus 42, extreme success. That's how we start a session.
Nice one. Maybe it's because of the assistance of alcohol and coming down from this adrenaline and maybe the small victory under your belt. You do get a good night's sleep, uninterrupted by this strange dream that you had the previous night of this city in yellow mist on a river. Your sleep is unadulterated by any visions or dreams or anything like that.
Yeah, I think he probably wakes up feeling like the healthiest and most rejuvenated he has the whole time we've played, because he's been sleeping like shit since before the game started, Yeah, wow. I guess arson feels great.
Well, the next morning, you probably sleep in a little late because you were up quite late and have had a huge day sort of trudging through the swamps. So you're awoken feeling fresh, but to a knock at the door.
Yeah. I think he carries the shotgun with him. He's real paranoid. Moves the chair, gets to the door, and standing next to it. Yeah, who's there?
You hear a voice. It's Detective Fillmore.
Oh, Detective Fillmore. I'm surprised you dropped by. You alone?
Yeah, it's just me.
All right. I'm gonna open the door up. Now, I'm gonna warn you before I do have a weapon. This has nothing to do with you. Just making you aware, officer. Or detective. And unlocks and opens the door.
No, I don't have anything to worry about, do I?
No. Come on in. Can I help you with? Have a seat.
You expecting company?
Oh, yeah, I am. And as he says this, he's locking the door again, making sure it's shut and locked up. Like, come on, have a seat. I'll explain the whole thing. And kind of like, I'm sure he looks pretty unhinged, and the place is, covered with all of his investigative notes and the symbols and signs. But he points the shotgun towards the snake in the jar, and I was like, I already had a visitor yesterday. Can't help but expect another. What can I do for you? Have a seat. He sits down at the desk.
He looks at this snake. I'm gonna make a roll real quick. Yeah, he sort of just looks confused and looks at you and says, "You have a habit of shooting pests?"
No, not particularly. But I'll tell you what. I was dozing off, was trying to get some sleep. Hear a loud banging, somebody running down the hallway. Pop my head out, go to see what's going on. Didn't seem like anything, so I come back, and that little bastard was sitting right in the middle of my office. Now, there's a certain man I seem to have pissed off, and that was most certainly a gift from him. I expect another.
This man wouldn't have anything to do with the Krewe swords, would he?
I mean, I believe he's tied in with one of them. He didn't seem to appreciate me asking questions.
Couldn't help but notice the sign on your door as well. Kind of just sticking out there.
Yeah, he left that for me. Yep. I think he was trying to make a point. But, all that aside, what can I do for you? What brought you to drop by?
Well, seeing as you have a little history with the Krewe swords, and seeing as they, if your story is to be believed, took it upon themselves to pay you a little visit, where were you last night? Specifically, around 3 a.m.?
3 a.m.? I was here. 3 a.m.
Anyone can verify that?
Actually, I wasn't. I went out for a drive around 1, I think. The party in the street was starting to die down a bit. Thought I'd have myself a look. But other than that, I was sleeping.
What time did you get back from this drive?
Hard to say. It must not have been too late. I mean, there were still some people out in the streets. I don't know. Maybe 2?
And, during this drive, Mr. Cassidy, you didn't, perchance, happen to pay a visit to a little warehouse over in the French Quarter?
Warehouse in the French Quarter? No, certainly not last night. I was there a couple days ago, though. I think we're talking about the same place. Little spot they were making, I don't know, some floats or something for the party.
That is the one that I'm talking about, yes. Seems to me, Mr. Cassidy, that only 2 days ago, you came into my precinct asking about the Krewe swords, asking about all kinds of things, and they paid you a little visit with this, some kind of snake. And then, might be surprised to know that just last night, this warehouse of theirs, happened upon some arson.
Arson?
Whole building burned down.
Jesus Christ, the whole building? Like he doesn't even try to act like he has no idea about it. He doesn't act overly surprised, but, because he wouldn't want to portray that he's acting. He's like, whole warehouse built down. Well, I guess that's a dead end for me then. I was going to drop back by there, maybe tomorrow, the day after, once the float was ready, see if I could talk to this Papa Screech again. Fuck. And, scratches something down like he's taking some notes.
Yeah. Boys over at Arson, couple of things. Found some signs of Molotov cocktails, kind of crude home job. And a couple of witnesses as well. Said they saw someone running from the scene. Male, probably mid-30s. And I thought, doesn't that just fit the description of my friend Mr. Cassidy?
I think he smiles and was like, I can see why you might make that comparison. I have been investigating them, but I would say that fits the description of at least a third of the city. I mean, to be fair, no disrespect, but you were investigating the crew as well, and that fits your description, so I don't know what to tell you. I haven't burned down any warehouses.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they didn't get a good look at the man's face.
That's a shame. More legwork for you. Pain in the ass. I remember that.
Oh, no. Boys and arson are going to be investigating this one. There's just a little overlap with our fishing investigation. Seems like perhaps there's more here than we initially thought, so just following up on all the leads, you know?
Well, that is the first thing you've said that I can wholeheartedly agree with. There is, and he just kind of like widely gestures at all the stuff that he's pasted up on the wall. There's a lot involved in this case. I thought I was just looking into the death of a reporter. Turns out, it's a lot more than that.
He sort of stands up, his eyes widen, and he begins to look at all your notes. Just, what the hell? I'm going to make a roll for our friend here. Now, I'm no psychologist, but this is looking a little crazy to me. Randall Fowler? What is this Yellow King?
Well, I could see how it would appear pretty crazy, and I've thought that myself a couple times. Well, here's the short of it. This guy, Bob Screech, who's involved with, Krewe Swords, he's been, he's been, on the take with Fowler. Fowler's been paying him quite a bit of money to channel or let him speak with his deceased wife and child. To hear some of the other ones talk, I went by and talked to Creighton. He seemed to think the whole thing's a scam, and it might be. But if it's a good scam, or if it's a scam, it's a good scam. Pulls out the book. Turns out this symbol is all over the place. It's, this book is apparently some kind of occult play. I went down and talked to some of the voodoo practitioners down in the south part of town. They seem pretty scared of this Screech fella. Seem to think there's some credence to it, and they put the same symbol on my door. So, whether he's just a con man, or whether he's, running a hell of a graft, it's something.
Give me a persuasion, please.
Yeah.
Persuade.
Perfect. 17 versus 10, that's a fail.
So close. He sort of frowns. He says, all these crews have symbols, imagery. It's part of their culture. As far as I can tell, conning some poor widow out of his money, it's not exactly moral, but it's not really a crime as far as I can see.
Oh, I hear what you're saying.
The only crimes I can see is if your story's true, it's someone, broke and enter. If you can place the person who did it, I could look into it, but the rest of this is crazy. What are you doing here?
Yeah, look, again, I've thought the same thing, and I'm just trying to follow all the strings. It is what it is. Listen, I went out to the swamps where all that bad business went down all those years ago. Saw the same symbol out there, carved up a couple buildings deep in the swamp. Folks out there saying the same thing. They're scared of Screech. This guy. Now, do I believe, and he's going to try to play this up, do I believe he controls some kind of dark magic? Probably not. But, he's known, he's connected, he's got something going on, so I have to assume this is bigger than a simple graft. He's got some plan here. Now, maybe it's just to shirk all the money out of the Krewe Swords, and I'm not sure if we care about that. But I tend to think if he's going through all this trouble, spending all this time, as well known as he is, he's got something bigger planned. Maybe it's frauding the whole city. I don't know. But as far as breaking and entering, unfortunately, as I said, I didn't see anyone, so it's nothing I can verify.
Well, like I said, arson isn't my beat, so I'm not really on that. Let's just hope, for your sake, there ain't nothing else tying you to that crime. But, you say they're up to something in the swamps?
Yeah, well, to hear the folks talk, hear odd sounds at night, there's definitely traffic through there. I mean, I saw footprints all over the place. Shame I didn't bring my camera, but I took a bit of a swim. Not on purpose, mind you, so probably better I didn't. They got some weird stuff going on out there, and I saw human remains.
Fresh?
No, some old bones.
That's a little tricky.
Yeah.
Roll me another persuade.
7 versus 10. That one's a success.
Oh! He sort of stands, so he's still standing up. He sort of takes another look at all of your notes, like pinned up on the wall. And he says, well, if you say they're up to something out there at the swamps, might not be enough to go on, but I'll see if I can convince some of the boys to let us go out there and have a look around.
Yeah.
Anything we should know?
Well, I will say, people I spoke to were real kind, and it would probably be best if they're treated with a light hand. Good folks. Now that's the folks living around that area. Deeper in the swamps, might be a bit different. I mean, see what you see. But again, people I spoke to, and he pulls to memory again, Granny. Particular older woman, seemed to have a lot of respect for her. Just, again, you gotta do your investigation. I appreciate you taking a look, but try to have a soft hand with the folks living out there. They certainly don't seem to have any ill will towards anyone.
And, Detective Fillmore looks at you and sort of gives you a nod and says, noted. All right, well, he sort of pulls out his notebook and writes down a few notes, and he says, listen, the boys from Austin might want to question you themselves, but I'll tell them that you were, what? You were back here sleeping?
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. I wish there was somebody who could verify that, but that's not exactly the life I'm living these days. He kind of chuckles to himself. Look, how about this? I'm happy to talk to whoever. How about we set a time? I'll come down to the station myself. There's no reason for them to have to trudge all the way out here. I mean, however much time they need, I'm happy to answer their questions. So you let me know what time to come in. I'll have a sit down with them.
Yeah, he takes down your number and says they might give you a call. All right, Mr. Cassidy, you have yourself a nice day. Don't get up to any trouble, okay?
Well, I'm going to do my best. I intend to spend the rest of the day going over my notes, and good luck to you in your investigation.
Thank you. And he sort of just gives one other look over, like, the apartment and sort of, like, takes it all in and kind of shakes his head and as he goes to leave and shut the door behind him. Give me one final luck roll. We'll see how this resolves maybe a little later, but let's roll for it now.
Ooh, 56 versus 18, fail.
Okay. No problem.
I think as soon as he's out of the apartment, again, locks everything up, puts the chair back under the door, and like lets out a deep breath and like looks down at his hands shaking. Like that definitely was not just as easy as he felt like it was. He's probably already feeling the stress. Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah, you know, yeah. You hear about Detective Noel Fillmore leaving you there in the apartment with your thoughts for a moment. I guess trying to figure out what you're going to do. You're not sure whether or not he's going to look into this cult, or whether or not the police might even listen to what sort of notes he has on, whether they'll bring you in for questioning. Who knows?
Yeah, I think at least for a couple hours. Again, as he's kind of indicated to the detective a couple times, Jack is very much expecting some kind of slapback. So he's going to hold up in the apartment. Again, at least for a couple hours, at least until like midday, maybe a little bit later. Keep going over his notes. Watch out the window, you know. Act real paranoid. And see what happens. And if nothing happens, come like, again, around a little bit later than midday, maybe 1, 2 o'clock, he'll drive over to the mask store.
Yeah, of course. You you finally summon the courage to leave, drive over to this store where you are having this bespoke mask made for you. As you emerge from your car, and there's more sort of partying going on in the streets. So you head down the street to head to this shop. As you walk down the street to head to this shop, you overhear two people talking. They look like regular people, but you can't help but catch on to what they're saying. As one of them sort of throws his arms up in the air, looking at the other, and he says, "Oh no, my apprentice, what have I done?" And he sort of looks around. "There is a painless death that awaits him who can no longer bear the sorrows of this life. If death is welcome, please let me seek it here." As he drops to his knees. And you recognize these lines. These lines are plucked straight from the play.
Yeah, they're from the play.
Give me a sanity roll, please.
34 versus 42, success.
What do you do in this moment as you see these two people acting out this scene of this play?
Yeah, I think as it catches his attention, he was just casually walking the shop. He just stops and freezes and kind of watches it go down as they kind of deliver that last line. He'll shake his head, probably wipe his eyes, and he'll watch a little bit further, wondering like, fuck, is this really happening? Or have I just lost it?
As you sort of pause for a moment and blink, you look back at them. They're just having a normal conversation. It's like literally just snaps, and that whole scene, it's like it didn't happen. No one's reacting to it, and they're just continuing their normal conversation.
Yeah. Again, Jack, shakes it off, stretches his eyes, kind of holding the bridge of his nose. Goes to reach for his flask and thinks to himself, off. Maybe that's the problem. And then turns around and starts to head into the mask shop.
The guy sees you coming in. A few people in there, and he says, "Afternoon, friend."
Yeah, how are you today?
Yeah, pretty well. Just give me a tick, would you?
Absolutely.
And he, goes sort of back behind a little curtain and emerges for a second and places something down in front of you and opens it up, and you see this beautiful, porcelain white mask that sort of goes off into this sort of elongated, not like a beak, but almost kind of like a beak. It's this sort of ghostly phantom mask. And then behind the eyes are these black veils so that the wearer, you can't even see the eyes beyond them.
Yeah. Jack looks it over and it makes him uncomfortable, and that's exactly what he was going for. So he grins at the keeper. It's like, wow, you really outdid yourself.
Oh, thank you. It was fun to make. It's a little different from what most people ask for.
Yeah, I can see why. Honestly, just based off the description, I pictured something, not quite this, but this far exceeds anything I could have imagined. You do some great work.
Do you mind if I ask you what the theme of the party is?
Oh, it's just a masquerade ball, but to my knowledge, but these guys, they have an interest in some old stories, and in one of these old stories, somebody wears a mask like this, so I thought it might ingratiate me to them.
Well, let's try it on. And, he goes to sort of, assist you in sort of placing it around your head and sort of making sure it's all good and everything fits. And yeah, it seems to fit just fine, comfortably as it slips onto your face if you allow him to put it on.
Yeah, yep.
Give me a sanity roll.
There it is. 20 versus 42, hard success.
All right. You kind of lose yourself in a moment as your vision sort of blocked out, and you sort of breathe in and you sort of think about this story, about this phantom and how he sort of went through the night and enacted his revenge. But you sort of snap out of it.
Yeah, even having that momentary thought, Jack probably finds himself grinning and like shakes it off. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? What's going on with you? But yeah, once the mask is back off after he fitted it, Jack will overplay how pleased he is with the work.
He's very happy that you're pleased as you finish up paying for the other half of it. And he sort of begins to wrap it up in some like soft paper to keep it safe and putting it into this padded box and sort of ties a little ribbon around it and slides it over to you. He says, anything else?
Let me ask, have you gotten any other special orders recently?
Special? Well, not too many. Huh. I mean, nothing like this at least.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's say this isn't my last ball, and I'd like to think it's the first of many. I will bring all my business to you. And again, like offers a hand.
Gives you a hand and shakes it. Says, well, pleasure.
You too. You have a good day, sir. And he'll take the. Is it in a box or?
It's in a box. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll tuck the box under his arm, tip his cap, and head out.
Yeah. You step out into the rainy afternoon.
Yeah, I think on the way back to the car, he probably watches everyone around him to see if he has another one of those moments.
Yeah. You look around and sort of like very paranoid as you walk back to the car and sort of jump in and sort of escape the rain, shut the door. You do see off in the distance, though, another one of those flags flapping in the stormy breeze.
Yeah. I mean, nah, he'll save it for later. I was going to say, it'd be real ridiculous and put that mask on before he tears the flag down, but we'll save the mask for, the party moment. He tucks the mask box, like, under the passenger side seat, so it's not in sight. Drive over to where the flag is, get out, rip it down.
Yeah, you climb this building and rip this sign down. You see someone there like, hey, what are you doing?
Listen, you don't want this up. I mean, hang anything else up. But this, you don't want hung up. All right?
Whatever, buddy.
Yeah, whatever, buddy. Now, you'll be thanking me when your brain's not melted by an otherworldly god, he says, like, totally matter-of-factly about it. Yeah, I think he climbs back down, goes back to the car, throws the flag in the trunk.
Yeah. You throw the flag in the trunk and hop back into the car and, I guess, heading back to the offices, right?
Yeah, I think he would like instinctively want to go to the police station and just get it out of the way, but maybe thinks to himself that will come across as guilty. So I'm just gonna go home. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So it's Wednesday. You've still got 2 more days until the evening of Randall Fowler's party. If there's anything that you want to do, otherwise, I mean, what does Jack do to, I guess, kill time? I guess waiting for either the police to speak with you or
I think
the party to arrive.
There's not a whole lot more that he wants to investigate. Like the big, hanging thread is Fowler, and he does not want to approach him before the party. So yeah, it's probably essentially a montage of him taking more notes, going through everything, trying to make every connection he can, probably drinking too excessively, and very, very paranoid, pacing around his apartment, just waiting for, somebody from the crew to show up or the police to show up. But I don't think he's going to run off any more leads. He's just going to bide his time.
Yeah. And again, sleeping with the shotgun, sleeping with something wedged in the door to alert you of anyone's presence, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think his paranoia level, and at this point, getting to the obsession as he's literally surrounded himself with this sign and all of the notes and symbols. He's probably barely eating, definitely not shaving. He's probably starting to look about as ragged as, he is.
Nonetheless, you're going to regain another hit point. Actually, you're going to regain 2 by this evening. So if you want to put your hit point total, you gain 1 per day. So I'll put you up another 2 hit points back to your total.
All right.
For the time being.
Yeah, back up to 11.
And that evening as Jack Cassidy finally drifts off to sleep, give me another sanity roll, please.
46 versus 42. That's a fail.
That's a fail. Again, you awake to find yourself at the shore of this lake. Beneath the starry sky, as more of this yellow fog drifts, you see the city across. This time, not illuminated. The lights are off, and the buildings being engulfed by yellow fog. The fog turns ashy grey, and the sky, turning grey as well, but studded with these stars that shine extremely bright like diamonds. Give me an ideas roll. I say ideas, I meant intelligence. In the older editions, it was called ideas as well. Sorry. That's to see if something occurs to you. I meant an intelligence roll.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. Oh, 92 versus 70, a fail.
Yeah, no problem. The lake once still begins to lap at your toes. And you find yourself uncontrollably just walking out, arms outstretched into it. I'm gonna roll a d3. So you, arms outstretched, begin to submerge yourself in this lake as you just wander out, not swimming, not floating, just begin to step until your body is fully submerged and wet, and you begin to drown.
Oh man.
But you just kind of let it wash over you, and then all of a sudden you begin to choke, and you wake up drenched in cold sweat. After losing those 2 points of sanity, roll me a d10, please.
All right. That's a 5.
Cool. No problem. You awaken on the couch covered in sweat, and you see a figure in the room standing over you as it steps out of the shadows towards you. What is your ex-wife's name?
I actually forgot. Let's see if I put it in notes. We haven't talked about it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think on recording I gave her a name. So I'm just going to go with Molly.
Molly. Well, yeah, you see Molly in a nightgown sort of step out and sort of reach the back of her hand out to your face. As she says, "Darling, you're sweating. Are you okay? Did you have a bad dream?"
Oh, is there something I can roll here?
You already failed your sanity roll.
Because I feel like I was going to say, I feel like he's terrified. I don't think he would be comforted by this. I think he would be trying to pull himself back on the couch away from her.
Yeah, seeing you recoil to her touch, she sort of steps back and says, "Darling, what's wrong?"
"You're not here. You're in Chicago."
"What?"
"You're not."
She says, "We're in Chicago, darling."
No.
And as you look upon the room, you are in your bed in Chicago.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think he looks around and bolts up in bed. No, I'm. How did I get here? I'm in New Orleans. I haven't seen you in years.
"What, darling? You're sounding crazy." She takes a step towards you. She says, "Darling, what's going on? You're stressed. It's work.
Don't.
It's starting to get to you."
"Don't touch me. You're not real. None of this is real. Where is he?"
"Where's who?"
"Screech. Screech. Where is Screech?"
"What are you talking about?"
"This is some kind of trick."
"Screech." She sort of, tries to take another step towards you and says, "Darling, you've got to stop working so much. It's starting to get to you."
He takes another step back and holds his hand out, open palm towards her and points, "Don't touch me. You're not real. This isn't real. This didn't happen." And he's going to try to go towards the door.
Yeah, as you sort of bound out and sort of rush out of bed and rush for the door in the bedroom, she is going to try and grab you in her arms to stop you from running.
I think, the minute that she actually touches him, he just loses all resistance. It'll freeze him cold.
Yeah, she'll grab you, and as you sort of gently fall into her arms, she's like, "Shh, shh. And she starts stroking her head. And she says, it's okay. It's safe now. We're safe here. Here in Carcosa.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think initially he did go calm. Having kind of convinced himself this is just a bad dream, it's fine. As soon as she says Carcosa, he will, not quite violently, but get away from her as quickly as possible. Try to like throw himself up, and run.
Yeah, you push her off you, and in that moment you awake on the couch, still in cold sweat, this time alone, hearing nothing but the wind and the rain on the, battering the window.
Yeah, I think he almost hits the fetal position and rocks back and forth for a minute. It like breathes it out.
Yeah.
Get up and find a drink.
You immediately get up and pull out Ed Roy's bottle of scotch that by this point is almost finished. You pour the last of it out into a glass and begin to drink.
Yeah, that dream was appropriately creepy as hell.
I'm just going to grab something real quick. 159 from the book. There is a list here that I'm going to get you to roll from.
Okay.
Here we are. Roll me a D100, please. Just a single one.
That is 67.
As your hand shakes and you pour this whiskey out into a glass, the last of the bottle, and sort of wait for every drop to leave and sort of knock it back, you're terrified of falling asleep again for the dreams that might come. And mechanically speaking, that means that you have onerophobia, a fear of dreams.
Fear of dreams. Wow. I mean, that also works really well with the bad dreams and with Grandma talking about dreams open a door that you can't close. Yeah, well, he's not going back to sleep then.
Yeah, you could try and stay up all night, I guess.
I think he just starts taking notes. Like one flips to the middle of his notebook or something, and on the left side writes everything that he can think of that he believes is true or real. And then on the right writes everything that he's seen or experienced that he's not sure about. He spends a lot of time trying to reconcile those lists.
Definitely.
Instead of sleeping.
And, yeah, you try and stay up all night, I imagine. Drinking as much coffee as you can, smoking, trying to figure out, keeping yourself up, any means necessary. Stop yourself from falling asleep. It's quite a while to try and stay awake between now and Friday evening, the night of the party. But I guess it's worth trying.
Yeah, worth a shot. If he wasn't seeing things before, he certainly will be now.
Yeah, give me a constitution to try and stay up all night.
All right. That is a 19 versus 80 hard success. He really doesn't want to sleep.
You've done this before as well. In the trenches, keeping watch. You're used to staying up long stints, I guess, as well, doing stakeouts. So you're fine. You manage to keep yourself awake with not too much detriment. By the time the sun comes in, you kind of get your second wind. And you're not feeling too bad. Although a little shaken.
Yeah, just pacing around.
And I guess you continue to sort of go over your notes and keep yourself safe in this apartment, if that's the plan, until later that afternoon, the phone rings.
Yeah, this is Jack Cassidy. How can I help you?
Oh, Jack, it's Sundstrom, Charlie Sundstrom.
Ah, Mr. Sundstrom. How you doing today?
I'm not bad. I just wanted to check in on how the investigation was going. Have you, well, we got a bit of a lead on something we're going to put in the papers tomorrow. Just wanted to run it by you if you had heard anything.
Oh, what you got?
Heard of a fella called Fillmore? Detective You hear some rustling of papers. Detective Noah Fillmore.
Oh, yeah, I've met him. He seems like a good man. What about him?
Well, this is just going on sources, nothing to confirm yet. Of course, the police aren't saying anything. But, well, he's, so far, still missing.
Missing? What? When?
Yeah, it's, well, it seems since, I guess, last night, this morning. His, family, colleagues, don't seem to know where he's gone. He was, part of a team, I guess, looking into the Krewe.
Yeah, I could verify that he was. He and I spoke at length about it, to be honest. I just saw him yesterday, was it? I think yesterday. He came by to talk to me about all this business. He went missing last night.
That's right.
Any idea where he was? Was he out in the swamps?
Haven't been able to get confirmation on swamps.
Don't worry about that. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
Well, I was saying I haven't been able to get confirmation on what he was exactly looking into, where he was exactly. My source says he was trying to get some men to look into something, but apparently no Dice was supposed to go home, but well, last night, this morning, didn't come home last night, didn't come to work this morning.
Shit. All right. There are things I want to tell you that I think might help you understand the situation, but considering what you have just told me, I'm a little concerned that sharing what I have learned will put you in danger.
What do you mean?
Well, like I said, the detective came by my office yesterday. I shared my notes with him, as he's been looking into the Krewe himself. We spoke a bit about, well, he talked to me last time I saw him about some of the things he'd learned about the Krewe. And I suggested he have a poke around out in the swamps. I went down there myself. I saw some things that, well, nothing you want to put in print. So it would seem what I'm sharing at length with him might have been something he shouldn't have known. Maybe somebody doesn't want information getting out. I know this sounds crazy, but it's all I can imagine.
You think he went down to those swamps down there?
I mean, he might have. Or he said he had, his own leads he was following up. Maybe he just got too close to wrong person in the Krewe.
Which person is that, you figure?
Well, I mean, if I had to guess, the person involved that you don't want on their bad side, that would be a man named Pop Screech.
Voodoo Man.
That's the one. One and the same. Listen, again, there's a lot of things I can share with you, and I intend to once everything's buttoned up and closed. But in the meantime, as you've just told me, he's gone missing. I'm not sure holding all this information is the safest thing. And they already tried to kill me.
Well, I don't really follow how information alone is going to put me in danger, Mr. Cassidy.
Well, if you feel confident in that, then I'll tell you everything I know.
And yeah, do you just proceed to tell him kind of everything?
Yeah. I think with that, it's that quick shot time skip where he does tell him everything, whether it sounds insane or not. And solidifies it all with he has photos, he has drawings, he has documentation.
Give me, I'm not going to say persuasion. I'm actually going to say this is a power roll, which is kind of like your force of will, I guess, to see how much you kind of hold it together and coherently kind of piece together everything that's happened.
Oh, that's a 93 versus 50. I mean, with the lack of sleep and everything going on, it makes sense that he's probably not sounding very coherent.
Yeah. You're probably babbling a little. There's a pause on the other end of the line. You almost wonder if you've lost him for a second.
Listen, I really don't know what to make of all of this. There's nothing I can print. Nothing that's not going to lead to a lawsuit anyway. And this Papa Screech fella, I mean, it's hard to find anything on him. Records on a name like that, but if I try and print any connection to Fowler, the crew, well, like I said, wealthy people with deep pockets. Gonna have a libel case on our hands. Something that we can't afford. Not here at the paper, no way. We have a reporter that killed himself, and a missing detective. Well, nothing that your average person would think twice about, really.
How about this? I don't know if this is something you want to run, but if you can't point to anyone in the crew, why not run a story in remembrance of the events that happened in '07 and how they had a particular calling card, a symbol. Don't print the symbol. I would suggest, you do what you think is right. But that symbol is the calling card of Papa Screech. So, whether it's just conjecture or not, you'll see it all over town. I've been tearing them down. That might be something that gets people's attention, and, nobody can hit you with defamation over that. You can see it with your own eyes.
Now, you would know, Jackson Cassidy, that that's not actually true. The yellow sign is something that you hadn't seen before until this point. And there was no connection in any of the evidence from the old case and any of the clippings or any of the files that indicated anything about Hasta, King, or this sign.
Yeah, but I think he believes it is. I think he very much believes it enough that he's going to sell it as truth.
So whether or not he would print something like that without having the hard evidence to back it up, he's going to sort of swallow and ask you. It's like,
is there any evidence to back that up, linking this sign with that horrible event? Something you can send me?
Well, listen, when I went out to the swamps, like I was talking about a couple minutes ago, I did see that symbol carved in the huts out there. These people, same folks apparently, or same group of folks who might have involved all those years ago, and they had this symbol, again, carved in their buildings and all over the place in some kind of altar. Now, unfortunately, I did not bring my camera with me, which is good because I took a bit of a dip in the swamp. But, I'm not saying send somebody out there to take photos, but if you did, it's there.
The symbol's out there.
Yeah, it's marked up on their buildings.
Interesting. Well, all right. Maybe that is something we could look into.
Well, as I said, just be careful if something happened to the detective. I don't know if it happened out there, but it could have. And I appreciate you calling, telling me detective's missing. I'll look into that myself. And again, I assure you, I'm going to find out what happened to your boy. That is the goal of all of this. He kind of thinks to himself, remembering that was the goal of all of this.
And he just sort of sighs on the other line, on the other side of the line. It's like,
man, why couldn't it be looking into bootleggers or something? This is crazy.
Well, it is crazy, but I can tell you from my own experience, looking into bootleggers might be more dangerous.
Oh, maybe you're right. Well, thank you, Jackson. I appreciate the intel.
Of course. If I get anything more solid, I'll ring you up. I hope to wrap this up in the next couple of days.
You look after yourself, okay?
Yeah. Well, I will endeavor to. You as well.
All right.
and yeah, he will hang up.
Yeah, I think Jack immediately, one last look around, grabs his hat, grabs his coat, looks at the shotgun, trying to decide if he's going to bring it or not, locks it in the gun safe, make sure he has his pistol, and heads out. He's going to go, begrudgingly leave with no sleep and try to see if he can find anything out about the detective gone missing.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Where are you going to begin with that one?
I mean, first thing, I guess, is heading down to the precinct that I know he operated out of, and they may not be willing to talk to me, but asking them if they have seen the detective, as I have some questions regarding my own investigation. Not let on that I know he's missing.
Yeah. You walk in there, and a few people are kind of busy, and as you begin mentioning his name, there are a few plainclothed officers around. Give me a luck roll, actually.
Oh, that's a 4 out of 18. Hard success.
One of them is it tries to brush you off and is like confused. Is like, we can't talk to you about that. But you see Milot, the plainclothed police officer there as well, who sort of interjects and comes over. He's like, Detective Cassidy.
Oh, yeah, Officer Milot. How are you today?
Good. And he turns to the detective who was trying to brush you off, and he sort of says, "This is Detective Cassidy. He was looking into the horrors of the swamps that happened all those years ago." And he says, the detective looks at you and looks you up and down and says, "So you're the one who got it into Fillmore's head that he should head down there, huh?"
I mean, I went down to the swamps myself, and I mentioned it to him that I saw some things out there. Is that where he's at? I'll go meet him if he needs some support, some backup.
And this detective kind of he also looks kind of young and not too sort of old and curmudgeonly. I say young, but like he's sort of baby faced. He's probably late 30s, sharply dressed, neat hair, dark hair, and he sort of shakes his head and he says, "Listen, I don't blame you for wanting to look into it, okay? He sort of came back here asking about it and his connection to the crew, all that sort of stuff, trying to get some boys to go down there and check it out, but no one did. Didn't come back. We haven't been down there yet ourselves. I guess I'll be frank with you. I was going to. I'm his partner," and he extends his hand. He says, Claude Lamont.
Yeah, Shake. I guess formally introduce myself again, although I've been introduced. Jackson Cassidy. Well, if you're trying to head out, I'd love to watch you back, there, officer or detective.
And he sort of looks around, and
I don't want this on my conscience. If something happened to him, and I had anything to do with it, I mean, I ain't gonna sleep.
He kind of looks around and sort of looks at Milot and goes, and sort of jerks his head, and Milot kind of, yeah, and leaves. And he says, "Listen, we're about to wind up this investigation until Fillmore went missing. But Milot there says you used to be an officer? Detective?"
I was. Yes, sir. In Chicago.
Oh, God, I'm going to regret this, but, all right. You want to ride with me then?
Absolutely.
You got a piece?
I don't think he says anything. He just kind of slightly lifts his coat to show that he has a proper service weapon.
And he sort of taps you on the back of the shoulder. He says, "Good man." All right. And he turns back and says to another plainclothed officer, he's like, "I'm going to take my leave. I'll see you guys later." And sort of turns and he's like, "Let's go." And sort of quickly walks out of there.
Yep. Absolutely go with him. Yep. Jump in the car.
Yeah, as you guys exit the police station, and he sort of walks to his vehicle. I guess that's where we'll leave this one.
Yeah. All right. Oh man, poor detective.
Oh no.
Well, I'm already looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Yeah. Revisiting the swamps, this time in the evening. Who knows what you might find.
Yeah, thanks again, man. See you next time.
We'll see you next time.